Hello. Okay, this is Miss Weems, and today we're going to talk about community and preventative treatment. Okay, so let's go here. Okay. All right, so they're in a community treatment situation. Your therapy providers are not just psychiatrists. Okay, you have clinical and counseling psychologists, clinical social workers, ministers, priests, marital and school counselors, and psychiatric nurses. So this is a group. It's not just a psychiatrist, which remember, psychiatrists are medical doctors who can prescribe medication. Psychologists do more counseling therapy. Okay, so is psychotherapy effective? And psychotherapy would be more of the counseling element. Clients felt that therapy was helpful, but it doesn't always have a massive impact in changing everything about you. People join therapy when they're unhappy and they leave when they're not unhappy. So it seems pretty successful. And if the problem comes back up again, they might try a different therapist. So their previous therapist doesn't know that their first course of therapy wasn't as long lasting. So it kind of makes it difficult to really have a unbiased data on this. So meta-analysis, again, combining statistic information from different research studies, what we've got from that is people who don't go through therapy, they often improve, but the people who do go through therapy are more likely to improve, and they're going to improve faster with a less likely risk of relapse. So therapy, through meta-analysis, we know is more effective at a quick recovery and a faster recovery, a more likely recovery, and a longer lasting recovery. Okay, so we know there's different types of perspectives for psychotherapy. So what do we have in common? What do they have in common? They are hope for people who are feeling really hopeless. It gives a new perspective on your issues, some kind of outside view. There is a empathetic, trusting, and caring relationship between patient and therapist, and it gives you someone to talk to. And there's kind of this alliance of of someone who's on your side and really willing and able to listen to you and your concerns. Okay. So what impact does culture, gender, and just your unique values have in therapy? Well, we know in North America, Europe, and Australia, these are individualistic cultures. So their therapy is going to encourage individualistic values, which could be really difficult for someone who's immigrated to that country from a collectivist culture, like somewhere in Asia, because you're challenging the values of their culture when trying to help them with another issue, which could explain why a lot of minority populations are hesitant to get therapy because they don't want all the values of their culture degraded. Religion can be another possible source of conflict. A highly religious person might want a therapist with a similar religious background or lean so that their values are understood and respected. Psychotherapists' personal beliefs do also influence their therapy styles. If there's someone who's a little bit more believing in tough love, that's going to influence their style of therapy, which may not necessarily line up with what somebody's willing to hear. All right. So, if we're trying to prevent a psychological disorder, the theory is if disorders are sometimes, emphasis on sometimes, caused by a disturbing or distressing society, so in theory, fix the society, fix the issue. So if we were looking at the high rates of bulimia and anorexia in Western cultures, especially the United States, we might look at what values our society is pushing that is encouraging people to resort to these issues in order to reach some kind of idealistic body size. So we might look at Instagram and magazines and television and things and say, you know what, we're pushing an unrealistic body image. When you have skinny women saying they need to wear Spanx, it's a little difficult. And you're creating a body image that might encourage the problem. So let's look at some other issues. You've got poverty, work that people might find meaningless or valueless, constant criticism, unemployment, racism, sexism, and heterosexism, which basically means people who are homophobic. What issues could stem from these? Well, I hope you're thinking of phobias, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, suicide are all things that could come from the stress of constantly living in poverty, feeling like what you do is meaningless, being criticized constantly, being unemployed, and suffering from other people's prejudices. That could be how the disorders that come from it. So, how could we address it to get rid of these, or at least lessen the power of these issues, so that the disorders that might stem from them are lessened? Something to think about. All right, guys. I haven't heard from everybody. I've heard from about half the class. And so far, what's winning is doing notes now, giving you a week off, and then doing the serial killer project. That seems to be what's winning. But like I said, I've heard from about half the class. So I need to hear from a few more people. So I have an official vote, okay? All right, guys, be safe. I miss you. Bye.